Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Joanne.
Hi.
And welcome
Hi.
to Creative Rehab.
Oh,
Thank
thanks
you
for
so
coming
much.
on. We're so
Thanks
pleased
for
to have
inviting
you.
me. Finally, we made it.
I know.
That's a theme with Creative Rehab, and Becky and I recording, so don't worry about that. We don't like to do things first time.
No.
No, thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for asking me on.
Absolute pleasure. Well, pleasure's all ours.
It is.
How are you? Have you had a good week?
Yes, I've had a good week. Yeah, really productive week, actually. Yeah, so no, all good. Ready for this week now. Monday, fresh start and all that. You know yourself.
Yes.
So, yes.
You're in Ireland, aren't you? You in Dublin?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm in Dublin and we have a lovely sunshine this morning. I know you have a bit of rain.
It was really, really miserable this morning. So when you came on and we saw this beautiful sun just like hitting your face, I was like, oh, it's miserable today, but lucky you.
Okay. Sorry, that's right. I just rubbed your face in it there. It'll probably rain later on. It'll rain later. You might feel better.
So can we just start by just talk us through with what you're wearing? Because it's absolutely gorgeous.
It is beautiful.
Well, this is a blouse I got online and I thought these collars were screaming out to be embroidered. And I use my embroidery machine and I've got little ladybirds and it goes right around the back.
So for those listening rather than watching us on YouTube, Joanne is wearing the most gorgeous white, sort of deep collared blouse. And you've used your embroidery machine, is that right? To embroider these gorgeous little ladybirds with leaves. And it's just stunning.
It looks beautiful.
Is that a pattern that you created yourself? Or?
No, it's actually, there's an app. It's called a Brother PP1 Skitch. That's a mouthful machine. And it has an app with it. And the app has numerous images. So you could just type in ladybird and you get a ladybird. Loads of images. And you can also download. I feel like I'm doing that for brothers here, but
it's a bit like a cricket machine, isn't it? So when I use my vinyl machine, you can go onto the library and there are like downloads that you're allowed to use for yourself and images that you can put on that you can then print off in vinyl. Is that how it works with the embroidery machine?
Because I have the Joy cricket machine, so it's very similar to that. But the thing with this one is you can download images, say from, obviously they have to be kind of copyright issues and everything once you're allowed to use them. You can download illustrations from online or Pinterest or whatever, and you can actually embroider them, anything, like you can embroider anything. So it's app operated machine. So it took me a little while to figure it out because, you know, there's a lot of technology involved with it, but very user friendly. But possibilities are endless. I'm looking for things to embroider now. On my Christmas, I can personalize placemats. I can personalize napkins.
I was going to say napkins. I love, now who was it? Here we go. I'm trying to dredge from my memory back. Okay, help me out. So gorgeous TV show. They buy a chateau in France.
Oh, Escape to the Chateau.
Yes, that's it.
Yes.
And what she did for all of her events and weddings. What's her name?
Oh, it's on it's
coming. Producer Marie, could you just Google Angela? Thank you, Producer Marie. Yes. So she basically would embroider using her sewing machine all the napkins with everybody's. So she'd buy all the napkins, embroider the napkins and put them in everybody's places with the people that were sitting there, and that was their favour. How lovely is that?
I love that.
Yeah.
So they take that home with them.
Yes.
Anyway,
perfect.
Sorry, I interrupted.
No, that's okay. I was just saying how the possibilities are endless and I can just embroider anything.
How long have you had the machine for? Is it like a new kind of, because when I get a new machine, I'm like, I'm all in.
It's actually only new in Europe, excuse me, since April. So it's been in America for years and it's new in Europe. So I have it since April. So it took me a while just to figure out how to use it. But once I got going, I broke about 10 needles and I was just, my husband lost me. My husband lost me to that machine, I'd say, for a week. I just locked myself in the room. I get so obsessed and I'm like trying to, if something is not working, I'll go to the ends of the earth to fix it.
And then it's like you become an expert in it because you've just completely hyper-focused and like, you know how to fix those problems. You know how to do that. I think it's the best way.
And I wouldn't eat. I wouldn't eat. I wouldn't drink. No one would be fed. I'm just walking around with no bra on, flip-flops. Hideous.
Just obsessed with the embroidery machine.
I get totally hyper-focused. And then it's so worth it in the end. Because
I mean, and those that are watching on YouTube will have the benefit of being able to see your beautiful outfit.
Oh, yeah. And also my cardigan, my mum crocheted this. It's a sleeveless. Yeah. So everything is handmade that I'm wearing purposely for this podcast. But 9 times out of 10, I have something on my handmade at some stage.
And you were saying that your mum doesn't use patterns or anything.
No,
she just how
I don't know. Like my granny was a crochet, and my granny she used to sew, and it's all my family all my brothers were carpenters, and my aunt, like they've all passed away now except my mum and her brother, but they're all tradesmen in like my uncle was a tailor. He used to work for Lee Jeans, if you remember Lee Jeans, and he used to cut. He was a cutter, so he used to cut the jeans. And my other uncle was a painter, so it's in my veins, it's in my blood, but I was in my 20s before I really got into it. But my mom is a huge inspiration, and we grew up with my mom used to knit our socks, crochet our socks. And everything was handmade. My communion dress was handmade. My Deb's dress was handmade. So we grew up with all that, and I thought everybody had that back in the 80s. I mean, no one had any money, so you had to make your clothes. But that's my whole ethos now.
I think it's kind of done a bit of a circle, though, because
that's what I was going to say.
Really, I think that sometimes when I grew up, shopping in a charity shop or even a supermarket, the kids would kind of tease you at school for doing that. My kids' favourite thing to do is for me to either make their clothes for them or go, thrift shopping and try and find a bargain that they kind of take for granted. I often get I can sew, but I'm completely self-taught. I don't know how to use a pattern, but I can, a bit like your mum, it's in here that I can make a dress, I can make a skirt, I can make some trousers, I can work out how to do it in here, but I wouldn't be able to teach it. That they can just go, oh, Mum, can I have a skirt with this fabric? And I go, yeah, of course. But it's completely it's just typical for them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like doing it. But...
Yeah, it's a process, isn't it, as well? Like it's the actual making of it, and then having to wearing something that you made. But I used to bring my mom into town when I was younger, and I show her a dress that I really liked that was so expensive, and she would take it like she'd be looking at the seams, looking how it's made, and it all just clocked in here, and she'll go home and just make it for me. So she's amazing.
What would her favourite? So she's a crocheter and would you say seamstress? As in,
that's her title. She worked in sewing factories for donkey's years, and these are sewing factories with could be 20 machines in one room, and they sound like tractors. And she's, with the result of that, she has a massive hearing loss.
Oh, really?
Because for 8 hours a day. One of the machines she has is a Singer industrial machine, and when she turns that on, it sounds like a tractor starting. I'm not joking. It's so loud, because you can imagine a room full of 20 of those for 8 hours a day. Sure. They all used to have sing-songs while they were sewing as well. But I mean, she's completely deaf in one ear, so her hearing is not great. But she's convinced it's as a result of the sewing factories. But no, that's what she did. She used to make the big knickers for the grannies, like big, ginormous knickers.
I know exactly what they are because I wear them.
Yeah.
Me too.
Oh my God. There's nothing quite like something to hold you all in, is there?
No.
Cover your kidneys. Your kidneys.
Keep them warm. That's what my mum would say. Keep your kidneys warm with your pants.
She's always been making things like that all her life, and it's her therapy now. She lives alone, she's 85, and I'd say, Ma'am, will I call down to you for an hour because not many people visit? And she says, no, I have my crochet, that keeps me company. And I totally get that. You will get that. Creatives will get that.
Yeah.
You have this, it's like you have something to go home to. It could be your crochet, it could be your knitting, it could be a painting you're doing. It just gives you that kind of feeling.
Yeah. You're not alone, are you? Because I think you can completely absorb, you can get into it so much that you kind of forget your surroundings when you're doing that. It feels like I'm quite happy in my own company. I don't get that very often with two kids at home, but I am really comfortable in my own company if I'm doing something like that. I love it.
Yes.
Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
No.
Wonderful.
So, Joanne, Can we sort of take you back a bit? You started out as a dental nurse. I think you did that for 15 years, didn't you? And then alongside that, you ran your creative business. Was it called Tiny Things?
Yes, Tiny Things was, I started that in 2005 when I was pregnant on my first daughter. But the whole idea behind Tiny Things is I wanted to make personalized furniture for children, but I had no money. But I had this idea. So my brother lived in London at the time, he still does, and I asked him to post over some flat packed IKEA furniture for me, which is not ideal, okay? Because we didn't have IKEA in Ireland in 2005. I was thinking, how can I source cheap furniture that I can't, because I'm going to paint it. And IKEA were selling these children's tables and chairs at the time. They probably still sell them unpainted, like just raw wood, flat pack.
Yeah.
So he used to post them over to me, and I used to paint them, assemble them, and sell them at markets. And that's how I started off. And it was not ideal long term because I didn't know how to source anything wholesale. So I made plaques instead, so little wooden plaques, and I used to paint on baby details. So baby announcement art, kind of personalized artwork. So the idea of Tiny Things and the name was initially because I thought I was going to be making tiny things for children, as in furniture, but it didn't really materialize. But I still managed to pursue a career and a very lucrative, successful small business, starting off in 2005 as a side hustle, continued on my job in the HSE, which is like the national NHS in the UK. So it was kind of considered a good pensionable, sensible job that you wouldn't leave. Like in Ireland, you'd say I work in the civil service, and that would be considered, back in the day, a really good job. So the idea of leaving that job, like, everyone was horrified when I decided to leave. But I waited until I built up a really good side hustle, had a really nice customer base, and I was so passionate about it. I knew it would work. I was going to make it work. I used to bring my paintings in on my lunch break into the clinic after patients shut the clinic down. And at lunchtime, I would bring my paint. Now, my boss wouldn't know this. I would paint. Any minute I got after work, I would paint. And the orders were just coming in, and I was doing markets on the weekend. Like, I was pregnant on my second daughter. I used to carry. No, actually, I was carrying her in one of those. She was born. Actually, I was carrying her in one of those slings.
The little papooses.
Baby, what did they? Baby Bjorn, the one.
Baby Bjorn, yeah. And I would have do my markets while I had her and sell my wares. But and then I set up a website, and it kind of just got really busy. So I packed in my job.
Wow.
And it was a huge thing at the time. They're like, you're giving up your job to do markets and paint in your living room or your box room. And but no, it was hugely successful, I have to say. And I loved it. I really, really loved it.
And the thing is, when you've come from a different job and then you realise what you should have, well, for me, I feel like I've realised the last 2 years what I should have been doing with
the last 40.
Yeah, it's not all about obviously financial security is important, but your mental health and the things that you get from that. I've always worked in charity works with homelessness and learning difficulties as a PA, so real corporate kind of world that I just knew I didn't fit in. And I was creative on the side, but as soon as I had the idea for Love Local and I opened it, it was like, oh, this is like at 41, this is what I should be doing. This is, and that it is scary, isn't it? Because it's not, you are giving up that guaranteed income every month and the benefits and the, just everything about it. But I bet you didn't look back at all.
No, not at all. But the decision was awful to make because he had a mortgage. We had 2 young children. We had a mortgage, and like, I know financially not everyone is in a position to do that, but I was just so determined to make it work. But I had built up a little, as I keep saying, a side hustle. I wasn't just quitting my job and starting something new. I had already built.
You did the two together.
Yeah, now it was so hard for the first couple of years because I was basically double jobbing. As I said, every hour I got, and I had young children too. I had the girls. my children I was 9, Rachel was 9 months and I was pregnant again. So there's only 18 months between them. So they were kind of Irish twins. So they were hard work. But no, I did the markets. And this was before social media. I mean, people now setting up businesses. It's amazing. All these different kind of platforms they have. Like Facebook was just starting, and we're talking like 2006 around then. Facebook was there was no Instagram. There was no way for me to showcase my work.
So
I used to stand in the rain sometimes every Saturday. I used to go to church halls where I get the mass crowd, like maybe 3 people would walk in, but one of those fairs I did, it was actually in a parish hall. And this girl came running up to me. She's like, "Oh my God, I'm so excited." She's like, "I have a florist across the way and a shop." And she sold like gifts and stuff. And she said, "I would love you to sell some of your personalized artwork in my shop." And that was for me. I was like, "Oh my God, seriously." So that was one thing I got outstanding. You don't know who's going to come up to your stand at these markets. And even now, I mean, I think they still have them. They're still running. And I would encourage people, to go along, because that's where you meet your community. That's where you meet, your customers. And, I think online is brilliant as well, but it's always nice to kind of do these markets, and especially coming up to Christmas, there's always these little craft fairs, even in schools and things like that.
Well, so it's always just seeing the actual products, like, we're so used to seeing it on a screen and then buying it, whether it be clothes or gifts or what have you, but actually going and seeing it in person and being able to feel it. And, I like tactile like that. I like to be able to, if it feels nice, then but you forget that wasn't that long ago, was it? No one relied on social media for a business.
Yeah, I know. It was crazy. But still, I was able to build a successful business out of it. We have a Ireland AM. I was on TV a few times, Boost Your Business section, it was called. So it was people with small businesses, and that was live television, and I brought all my plaques on there. And, so I had loads of opportunities. And then I was in a few magazines and newspapers and things like that. But people were more interested in the story. And I suppose it is quite inspirational for other people out there to hear it, because we all have that thought in the back of your head, like, "Oh God, I would love to do this," but everyone's going to be afraid to do it. Of course you're going to be afraid to do it. But I think if you're passionate about something, and and now, like, that was 20 years ago, and I'm still have I've closed down Tiny Things only recently.
I was just going to bring you on to this, because didn't you do a workshop, a punch needle workshop, and then during lockdown you just thought, this is my new thing. And then you created you created kits, didn't you? Punch needle kits that you then sold.
Yeah, so a good friend of mine, actually, and her name is Joanne as well, and she did a workshop with her friend, a punch needle, and I had never gone to a workshop before. This was 2000, it was 2000 and maybe 19, 18. Went along to this workshop, and it was punch needle. Met a lot of people there that I knew, like-minded creatives. Had a really nice day, and I loved the craft. Really enjoyed it. And when I got home, I was like a bit like the embroidery machine. I got a bit kind of hyper-focused. I thought, hold on a minute now, I need to do this. I was looking for things to punch, non-conventional, like that sounds really, I'll punch your face. I wanted to punch needle. Like with punch needle, you can only punch on a specific fabric, but I always kind of try to think outside the box, and I'm trying to think, oh no, I don't want to do that. I want to punch something else. So I started punching these baskets and stuff, and I just got really experimental with the craft, and it's very therapeutic. And then lockdown happened. And in the meantime, I had ordered loads of stock. I ordered loads of wool. I ordered loads of needles, because I thought I wanted to do workshops myself. All the stock arrived, lockdown happened, everything shut down. So I was left with like boxes of stock that I had ordered for my potential punch needle workshop. So at the time you could order from restaurants and things like that. So I ordered pizza boxes and made up kits. And because I was sharing a lot of my punch needle projects on my Instagram page, and people were like, "Oh, what is this craft?" And I was like, "Oh, I have these kits, I can send them out." So so I just started posting kits out to people, and people were really interested. And I did YouTube tutorials on how to do these templates, and it got really, really it was during lockdown. I had burns on my hands from making balls of wool.
I remember that. I've been following you. So I've been following you since just before lockdown, I think. And I got introduced to you through my friend Kira, who's obviously also from Dublin, who you know, don't you?
Oh, Kira Elliott. Yeah.
So she lives not far from me, and she's a good friend. And I saw your account through her, and I just sort of stalked you fundamentally ever since.
Oh, thank you.
And I remember you making up your boxes during lockdown, and you know, and winding the wool for each one, and
but since I've discovered you can buy these little machines that ball wool, and that's a game changer for me. So I've only discovered that like 6 months ago. If I hadn't known back then, but I was putting all the kits together myself. And I used to walk in the post office. I could see a woman in the post office, eyes rolling. I was literally, you couldn't see my head. Box. I'm like coming in. She's like, Joanne, and Gary, my husband, be behind me with all his boxes. Like, it was ridiculous the amount of kits I was posting out because everyone was stuck in their house.
Absolutely, and that's what I was going to say. It's one of those like there's not really. I don't know that you can ever really put a positive spin on that period of time because it was just such a surreal time. Horrible. But I started my business, Cotton Rainbow, so making macrame wall hangings just before lockdown, and it was going well. But when lockdown happened and the rainbow became kind of a symbol,
of course,
it was
the NHS,
absolutely crazy. It was, and I had the exact same thing as you with winding the wool. And I remember my dad going, I must be able to make something. So my mum and dad I'd literally drop off wool in their porch and give them the little cards to wrap it around and say, these are the colours. And then I'd pick it up like 3 days later because I couldn't get it out as quick as what they were coming in because people wanted to do it. And I think it really changed the way people spend their time even after lockdown.
Yes,
workshops are still absolutely a massive business, aren't they? And I love that I love teaching that. I did a Cotton Rainbow party in London yesterday with my daughter for 20 children, and 2 hours away from me, but that I absolutely love that their little faces, kids or adults, at the end where it's like, oh, I made this.
That.
It's brilliant.
And my shop's not open for orders. I only do kits and parties now because I don't have time with Love Local. But I really hold that lockdown fondly for that because I think it was really, really instrumental for a lot of businesses because all you could do is stay home. So why would you not learn to do stuff? You made sprouts.
Oh
no, it's not sprouts. Why would I make sprouts?
Well, that's what I thought. What did you say? You made.
I grew some vegetables, but I don't think I made sprouts. I made scrubs.
Oh, that makes more sense
for the NHS.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I had a whole. We're going off piece here slightly, but I made a whole. I joined this local group, and it was so bizarre. I ended up getting into contact. So this company got in touch with me through Instagram, who were a local printing firm, and they could get hold of the fabric that you make hazmat suits from. And we designed through his business a whole sort of like zip up scrub suit. And we didn't end up in the end. It was sort of just on the cusp when we did that of when they started to sort of ease with the deliveries. Because do you remember they ordered hundreds of them, thousands.
That's right.
And they all got stuck and couldn't get in the country, and it was awful. Anyway, we then sourced loads of fabric that was donated to us, and then I basically cut it all up with this guy's business. We cut all of the patterns out, and then we farmed it out to lots of women locally who could sew. We had this huge community of women, and they just came and picked it up from my doorstep. My kids were like putting it in, different bits of fabric. And different, arms, bodies, all the bits, and they just sewed it all together and dropped them back, and then we delivered them off to hospitals and things. It was quite extraordinary. It was a really lovely,
crazy time, and I don't think that we look back on it because obviously it was quite traumatic for everybody. The country closed, but when you are that far ahead and you can now look back and go, actually, that was the kind of the springboard for my business. And how did you feel when you, because so you do in-person workshops now as well, don't you, for Punch Needle?
Yes, I do them and I love it. It's like building a community. I just have these kind of my people, I should say. They're all very like-minded people, and it's funny because where I do my workshops in this really funky place in town in Dublin City.
Cool.
It's so cool.
It's like
and I
just industrial warehouse, isn't it? It's sort of
they have it decorated so nicely. And I won't go anywhere else because I'm spoilt in there. It's lovely. It's just the surround, I'm all about my surroundings. They have to be, they really affect how I feel.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And especially for the workshops, I've viewed like school halls and libraries. I'm like, I just can't. I have to have this. It's the whole experience for me. It's the people when they walk through the door, they're all like, oh my God, this is so cool. So it's not just the actual workshop.
Yeah.
It has to be perfect. So I'm really particular about my venues, and I always keep going back to this place for that reason. But the workshops are just crazy. I do one a month, and I'm booked out now till December. And it's just, I look out the door because I have to keep checking the door because the buzzer is kind of a nightmare, and I can see the people. I can see I said they're coming to me. Most of them have grey hair. It's like a mini Harry Styles crew coming around the corner. I'm like, they're for me. They're coming to me. I can see them. I know they're for me. They're and they're like, Joanne, I'm like, come on in. And they're wearing all these colours, and they're like, oh my God, I can't, and they're just buzzing with excitement. And I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, and they're like, a lot of them are wearing like crazy clothes, and I'm like, yes, these are my people.
Yeah, you find your tribe, don't you? Yeah, absolutely.
But I can see them coming down the road, and it's cobblestones. It's real old Dublin. It's right at the Guinness Brewery, and I swear to God,
where that is.
I have to get a videographer to record them someday because it's just iconic looking at them coming down, and they're all
you need someone sort of like hiding behind a bush.
Yes, just to kind of like be snapping them, film them.
And there's usually I have about 18 to 20 people on my workshop, so it's a lot of prep. As you know, with workshops, the prep work is huge. And because I make up all the kits, I draw all my own templates, and I try to keep it different all the time, so I'm always changing it up. So Christmas now, I'm excited for Christmas because we'll probably do some Christmassy things. But no, I love doing them. I really love doing them.
Do you do children's or just adults?
Loads of people ask me. Some people bring their children along. See, the punch needle is like a knit needle, so I'd say from the ages of 9 up.
Yeah, I do 8 upwards.
Yeah, I haven't done them yet, but I go to schools. I've done them in schools, but they're kind of older children. They're secondary schools, so they're probably 16, 17. Yeah. It's, as part of the curriculum in the schools here, they have to do a craft for their exams. So at one stage I was going into the schools, and that would have been part of their exam, their punch needle piece that they did. So that was really exciting,
My daughter's done it. Yeah, she probably tried it about a year ago, and she would have been 10. But she really liked it. She knows it's in her veins as well, so she
can do it.
Rihanna, you've done it as well, haven't you?
Do you want to see mine?
Show and tell. Show and tell. So we basically...
It's a slight anticlimax, but...
No, it's not.
No. Wow, that is so nice.
Isn't that lovely?
Gorgeous.
But again, I didn't have a picture or a pattern, or I just knew, because I wanted it to put on my rainbow stall for... Because I don't just... When I don't think I've got any of my rainbows near me. Oh, I have. Hang on.
That's so good.
They're not quite finished. These are for the shop, but these are... the rainbows that I made.
I've seen that.
And
is
actually,
that macrame or...
I'll tell. Yes, this. My daughter made this, so she's 10.
Wow! Wow!
But I wanted something to go on my stall that wasn't this. So I honestly, I really loved it. But I could completely understand when you said, I want to punch something that's not this, because instantly I was like, I want to do that on denim, but obviously you can't. Get it through. Can you?
If you use a really fine needle. Sometimes I bring my needle when I'm out shopping, and I'll be in the shops and I'm jabbing it in to see if I could punch that. Yeah, I'll try and punch it.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, if a fine punch needle is like a darning needle, and it would go into anything. So you can punch.
You could do
anything.
denim.
Yeah. Now you might have to even, you know, like you could put PVA glue on it to keep, because you know yourself, if you pull that piece of string, it's all going to come out. So you could use PVA glue, just lash it on, it goes on white, it dries clear, you know that. Or you could use the webbing that you use for embroidery. But I wouldn't put it in the wash, on the back of it to secure all the pieces. But I have punch needled a jacket. Now, I wouldn't wash it. Yeah, goes without saying. Yeah. But no, it's definitely, and tote bags. I've punched loads of tote bags.
Oh my God.
And they are, you know, the fabric of a tote bag.
Yeah.
So, but you just need to get if you just search up fine punch needle, it's like a darning needle, and that will just slide in like butter, and you could just draw on a tote bag and punch. You just might need to put loads of PVA glue to secure it, or you could line the bag, you put your own sew line to protect it.
What have you just done?
The possibilities are endless.
Don't Google yet.
Hang on, I've got a list. Buy embroidery machine, tick. Punch needle, take a punch needle out when I'm thrift shopping. Check. I love that. You're in the corner just seeing if it can, I can punch that. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. The baskets were a game changer. Like, I had never seen anyone punch needle. The seagrass baskets, IKEA sell them. You can put plants in them. You can put your laundry in them. I actually did a workshop.
I use them for
shoes or scarves and hats and things like that. But I did a punch needle workshop with baskets where we all punched a basket with a Christmas tree in it for Christmas, actually. And you could have put like elf's legs and then a pom-pom on the, pom-poms. I'm a bit obsessed with them as well. So the possibilities are endless with punch needle. I would try and punch anything. I'd punch people's faces now. You know that I do portraits.
Well, that was leading me nicely onto so I think probably my favourite, and there's quite a few, my most recent favourite of yours is Iris.
Iris.
That was so good. And did you, because I think, you drew it out first, didn't you? And you did that from a picture, did you? You sort of looked at the picture and then...
Yeah, I have a projector, a projector.
Right. Yeah.
And I got an image, like there's so many images of Iris. I can't remember if it was an illustration or a photo, but I just downloaded it and I was able to project it onto a big screen, which was my punch needle kind of fabric. Like I've gone bigger with that. That picture is
it's enormous.
It's huge.
Did you do one for yourself, and wasn't one a commission? You do commissions, don't you?
Yeah, I did. I did one when I started to draw Iris, I literally just draw on her. Some girl messaged me on Instagram. She goes, "I'll take that, please." I was like, "I haven't actually finished it yet." She says, "No, I want it." I said, maybe wait until it's finished because I don't know. It could look terrible. She sent me a photo and she had Iris apple tattoo on her calf of her leg.
Oh, wow.
Massive Iris apple. Wow. She said, "I don't care. I want it." I said, she says, "How much?" I was like, "I don't even know how much they charge. I'm literally just doing this." So I said, "You know what? Leave it with me. And when I'm finished, we'll have a chat." So, thank God. I felt like I was under a bit of pressure then. But no, it turned out really well. And then when I sold that one, she was moving into a new house. And she's actually coming to one of my workshops. That girl, Claude is her name. She's lovely. And then somebody actually said, "Can I have an Iris?" But I find it's like anything you make. It wasn't identical to the first one I made. They're all so different.
Should it be? Yeah.
And also, when you get that, that's not really why you do it, is to make 20,000 of that. You're not
replicating.
Yeah,
something.
No, you're not. It's...
Yeah. And I just do one and then I don't want to do it again. I'm done with it, that way. So I would hate to have to do Iris all the time. Dolly Parton was a commission. I did Dolly Parton for someone, a huge Dolly fan, and then I can't remember who else I did, but my mum, I did her face.
Yes, you did her, didn't you?
Yeah, but no, I would love to do them, but only as one-off pieces. But I just enjoy doing them.
That's with the giant motorized. Is it? What's it called?
It's a gun. I have to say a tufting gun because when I'm talking about my gun, people get a bit shifty. Yeah. It's a tufting gun, and I actually I mixed the tufting gun and hand punching on the big pieces. The tufting gun is very heavy. Like it's because I was getting personal training in the gym, and the guy said to me, "My God, this arm, I have this muscle, and this is like a noodle. This arm because I'm like this because you're literally it's like the motion of lifting a dumbbell." So you're like this, and it was quite heavy. And I was doing at one stage, I was doing so much with my tufting gun that I had built up this massive muscle on this arm, and this one was like, so it's quite labor intensive. It's a power tool.
I've got a workshop. I was bought a workshop at the London Tufting Company.
I've seen them. I wanted to do that.
You can design your own, and that's what I'm going to do with my best friend. She bought me a voucher, so sorry, Becky.
Oh, that looks like. Oh,
sorry, not sorry. You can come along. But I like the idea of it's literally just that. I love a machine as well.
Yeah. It just spits out the loops for you. I actually thought about doing workshops with the tufting guns, but I don't know. I think I need St. John's ambulance outside or something, because it's
just in case.
It's a whole insurance issue there. I'd hate for somebody to do. It's bad enough with the needles. Like, I have a first aid kit. Some people have blood on their fingers, because they punch their fingers, and I'm like, don't get blood on your picture. Just like plasters at the ready. But no, I'd love to do punch needle workshops with the guns. Eventually.
You need to come to the UK and do some.
Yes, you do.
I know.
We've been saying this.
Come over to England, and we'll find you a nice venue.
Yes,
definitely.
We will make that happen.
I tend to use Airbnbs. So there's quite a few local nice Airbnbs that if they have an ad hoc day that's not booked, I hire it for a day from them, and then I host my workshops in. I started at Duck Duck Goose, Becky.
Oh yes, that's
with
right.
Jo. So she would if some people book to a Wednesday and then on a Friday, and it's a really beautiful barn, because I'm the same as you. It's not a village hall. Is not. I'm not saying that it's not suitable for most things, but for me, I need to feel like it's the right venue. We'll find you the right venue in Essex. Don't worry.
My best workshops that I've done in the past have all been at home, so I can provide soup. There's comfy chairs. There's you just want to create that whole. It's about turning up and with a needle in your hand and stabbing away.
It's an experience.
It is. It's that, and actually, the experience of most people who are creative is about creating that safe space and making it all fit. So I just wanted to talk to you, just if I may, briefly, about your fabulous Instagram account. Honestly,
thank you.
As I've said to you in person many times, it's one of my favourites. It's right up there in my top 5, actually. And just everything, because what's really lovely is talking to you now here, talking to you previously, sending you messages, and who we see on Instagram is exactly the same.
Yeah, I agree.
Exactly the same. So you somehow effortlessly manage to project who you are with no inhibitions onto your account. And, I think I've said this before a lot, is some of my favourite posts is when you created your lovely chalk paintings in your driveway.
You love them.
Honestly,
we'll have to share those as well for people.
I'll find them and I'll share them on our Instagram feed. So go and have a look.
Yeah,
they're just genius. I know that's all changed because you've now had your driveway done, haven't you?
And I turned 50.
Yes,
the hips. My hips can't take it.
The hips
can't
don't
get back down there to do those.
I can't. No, I can go down, but I can't get back up.
For me, it's like I am a colour. Like colour for me calms me. It's my dopamine rush. My house is a mismatch of just nothing matches, and I love that. It's just whatever makes me happy is out. And when you're scrolling through Instagram, I want those accounts like yours that lures me in with colours that you wouldn't necessarily think to put together but look incredible, and they make me happy. That's what I want.
And you do it all yourself. Some of you wallpaper yourself, you paint yourself, some of the hacks and the creative things you've done, I've gone, oh my God, that's genius. And I just love the way your brain thinks, and I can totally relate to it.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you so much. You give me a big head now. I'm very shy.
You should be very proud of that. It's amazing.
Thank you. It's not even like work to me.
No, I
doing
know.
all those
I get
things,
that.
But like, as I said about the workshops, and it's the same as where I live. Like, it's like when when you come home from holiday and you put the cases down. Like, I've created a space. My family probably don't like it, but I do. So that's all that matters. I know they do, but I've created a space at home. Like, that's why interiors is a huge part of my account, as well as the creativity. But they all both go hand in hand, because I think it's so important that, because your surroundings do affect how you feel. And I live in a house that kind of makes me feel good.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say to me, why don't you just get somebody in, or why did you paint your tiles? You could just get lino. But it's the whole process I love doing, and the fact that I can look at that now, and it's just like you feel like, oh my God, I did that myself. And that.
And I think you get to a point where I think Becky and I did a workshop a few weeks ago, which was like a mood board workshop about what our kind of seasons of our colours were. And mine was no surprise. It was spring. It was bright, floral. And actually at that workshop, we were having a chat about when you flip over from not making a change in your house because it might not be saleable. You might not want to make this change. And actually you go, but I live here and I want it. I want a rainbow to throw up in my house, and then I'll be happy. I don't care that someone eventually one day might buy the house and not like it. I want to walk in and feel happy. And that's what, that's what it must be in your house, because it just looks beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Joanne, we're going to ask you a couple of quick fire questions.
Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready?
Hope so.
Okay. What do you think your best make has been? What's your favourite make? So whether that be punch needle, a cushion you've made, a dress, is there something that really stands out? Something that you've made?
Oh, I know. So there's this purple tulle dress I had.
I remember.
So
that was incredible.
I bought it online. I wanted a really tufty tulle dress, and I was nominated for an award with Goss magazine, or some magazine over here in Ireland, and there was an award ceremony, and I saw best dressed was a category for, and I thought, I'm gonna win that. I'm gonna make something. And as well, the whole thing about making things like that, clothes, is that no one else is gonna have it. So you go to a wedding or you go somewhere, you're like, I like to make, or even say like this blouse, I like to put my own stamp on things because I know it's completely unique. So I said it to my mum, I was going to buy tulle and make a dress, and I thought, what if we just buy two dresses and you put them together, mash them together.
So clever.
So one of the dresses, it was layers of tulle, purple tulle, and then so I bought two. I bought like my own size, and then I sized up on the other ones because there was more fabric on it. So we just took the tulle off one dress and added it to an existing dress. So it was just, it's on my feed actually somewhere.
It is. I'll share it again. It's I tell you, it's massively giving Sarah Jessica Parker.
I was just about to say Sex and the City.
Yeah, it's exactly that.
I didn't win the award in the end anyway, but it was stunning. It was stunning. But that was and there's so many things in the house that I've made, but that one just really stood out. I was so excited. Like when my mum brought it out, I was like, oh my God, it's like you read my mind. That's exactly what I wanted.
That's the best. That's the best feeling when something from in here comes out into real life, isn't
exactly. It? Yeah, it was stunning. So it has to be that.
Best bake is the next one.
Oh my God. You're talking to somebody who preheats the oven to make Rice Krispie cakes. Seriously, I cannot bake.
Okay, that's fine.
Let's
cross that one through. So nothing. Okay, this one I know you're going to struggle to answer because there's so many. Best home hack. So something that you've gone, oh, I wonder if I could do that, and how can I make that work, and what can I use to go up that? There's so many. Well, probably most recently the window hack I had. So recently
beautiful.
I got a new kitchen. And I would have loved a massive big window, but we live in a timber framed house, and I don't know if the builder just said this because he just did not want to do the job, but he said it's a huge job and it was a huge expense to replace the window. So I thought, almost like a picture, if I put a frame around it to give the optical illusion that it's actually a bigger window. So that's what I did. So I put a kind of frame. I didn't do it. I got a carpenter to do it, but I just drew a picture of what I wanted. And it's actually is a great, it's is, as I said, it's an optical illusion. The window looks bigger. I suppose if you can imagine, a picture would look bigger with a frame around it as well. It's the same concept. So that would be one of the most kind of it's probably because it's the most recent, and I have such a bad memory that I can't remember anything else I've done in my house.
Great one.
Painting tiles is a game changer, especially if you are moved into a new house and you kind of don't have the budget to replace tiles. Painting tiles and stenciling them, and I did one that looked like terrazzo, you know, that really popular.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that.
Yeah,
on the floor.
So you flakes.
Yeah.
So
paint, and then you went over the top of it. And I loved. I don't think I've imagined this. Didn't you create a lampshade with a basket in your downstairs loo as well?
Yes. Oh, yeah. That was a seagrass.
Yeah.
Or it was I think it was a bin actually, and it looked like wicker, and I just turned it upside down and made a hole in it.
Really simple, but
so actually, when you realise that not everyone has that process in their brain to go, oh, actually, that I could use that for that. I'll just turn it upside down, and that will be a shade.
But then at the same time, and I always say this to people, it is an affliction as well, because it's kind of, and you girls probably know, there's 5 million tabs in my head open right now. Already I'm thinking about, now what have I to do today? I'm 10 steps ahead of myself.
Yeah, absolutely, always.
You know, and it's good that I can make all these things, but while I'm making something, I'm thinking about what I'm going to make after this. You know, so it's that's the way my brain works. I cannot help it. It's just go. So I see things and I'm thinking about what I could do to, you know, just, I don't know, it's a creative brain.
That's creativity, isn't it? You know, you always want the next kind of buzz and the next thing to find to create it.
And it is a buzz. It's actually it's a dopamine hit. The hit I get from it, I wish I could bottle it and sell it. And that's why I do the workshops, because I say that to people with the punch needle, especially the punching. I find it's very therapeutic because you're literally punching something. Yeah,
you're exerting so much energy whilst doing it. It's incredibly Well, essentially what you're doing is, without realizing, is you are soothing yourself and you are feeding all of that dopamine back in, and you are creating it really in a very healthy and kind of mindful way. And it's just, you know, as we've always said, and I know we've had conversations about this before, that, you know, that's why we started this podcast and why it's called Creative Rehab. Is because creativity is literally at the core of our well-being. It's central to everything that I do. And everything feeds out of that. And I know you feel really passionately about sharing that, don't you? And making sure and creating space where other people can do that.
Yeah, and inspiring it in others, especially now with the younger generation, with all these smartphones and you know, iPads and everything. I just hate to lose it, because when we were small, I think it just brings a lot of nostalgia for me as well when I'm doing creative things, because like we would always sat around the kitchen table making things, and you just don't want to lose that for the next generation, the way things are going. So it's really important that we keep these crafts alive. But as you said, Rihanna, it is, people are making their own clothes now, and there is an element of it there. On TikTok especially, you see people buying these like bed sheets and making things out with them. So it's definitely there, but we just need to keep it going and keep talking about it.
I agree.
And we will.
Yeah.
Well, Joanne, thank you so much for agreeing to come on and sharing. Honestly, I've loved it. I've really, really loved it.
Thank you so much.
And I can't wait to see what you do next.
And basically, Becky's little mention about that she likes to host some creative workshops at her house means that she's invited you to stay to her house.
Okay.
And then I'm going to come over and we're going to do a workshop, okay?
Yeah. And bake
anytime.
When you make some cakes.
Oh,
I know
Becky
you're really
is a great cook. It's why I always end up at her house at least once a week.
Yeah. Wow. No, I'm there. Just tell me when and I'll book a flight.
Thank you. It was so lovely to see you again.
No, it's
really
lovely.
Nice.
No, thank you so much, girls. I really enjoyed it, and looking forward to listening back to it. So thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Bye.